You'd never throw out everything because you have one or two bad examples. But the legal system, I don't think, should be any exception there.
Well, you know, the thing that people need to know is quite well said, Mark, that, you know, you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
That's right.
You know, that we can, you know, weed our own, and we do a good job of policing our own. A lot of people out there don't know that, that we have in the Texas bar a very, very vigilant group of people that are watching. Do you return your phone calls? Do you take care of your clients? Did you give them a fair shake when they did a deal with you? Did you take care of their money?
Did you advertise truthfully?
That's exactly right. And also, did you take your ethics exam? And they used to say, you know, you can pass the ethics exam if you say you turn in your grandmother and you rat out your friends. You know, they'd say, you know, it's that strict. So a lot of people have bought into that. Where have we gone wrong in the last 2-3 decades? We've got a few minutes left here, but I mean, just for people to understand, how did we get from a lawyer Perry Mason kind of honorable profession to this where the lawyer jokes and IHateLawyers.com, et cetera, et cetera? Where did it go awry? And you know, I mean, what's your take on that?
I believe it's a propaganda war. I think that there are big, powerful interests that have a lot of media influence, that influence newspapers. You'll see, for example, I'll bet a lot of your viewers who are on the internet will have gotten at some point in time this outrageous email about the 10 most outrageous cases of lawsuit abuse. And one of them talks about the person driving the RV down the road that puts it into cruise control and gets up to fix a cup of coffee or something. And when the RV veers off the road, he sues the manufacturer of the RV. Those are all made up. They're all made up. And we get those things in. But who do you think's making that stuff up? You know, the McDonald's cup of coffee. The McDonald's cup of coffee sounds like something that's absolutely horrible, and everybody says, oh, that's lawsuit abuse. Who truly knows what happened? Who truly knows that that grandmother who got third-degree burns that required surgery and caused absolute misery, who truly knows that she had offered to settle that case for her medical expenses and McDonald's wouldn't pay them? Who truly knows that McDonald's knew their coffee was so hot that it would cause burns like that, but chose to keep it that hot because they could use a cheaper coffee and they could use an older coffee and you couldn't taste the difference as long as they had the taste that hot? Who truly knows any of those kinds of facts behind it? Well, why? Because it's McDonald's who's telling everybody about it, and it just sounds ludicrous to think $7 million for a woman burned by a cup of coffee. Oh, it's settled for much less than that. You know, there's a propaganda war out there, and people need to know that you can't believe everything you hear. There's always two sides to the coin, and they need to do some investigation sometimes, because the widows and the orphans and the grandmothers aren't so quick and able to get their story out to the media like the big companies that are making media buys all day long.
Well, they saturate the markets, and then you have lawyers beating on other lawyers saying, yes, this stuff is true. You know, I always, I'm tickled a little bit, you know, and kind of the irony of it is you have a lot of defense lawyers saying, oh, yeah, you know, Joe, file some more lawsuits, we're starving. They sang a different tune 4 or 5 years ago when they were afraid they were going to lose their client base, which was the insurance company's big business. And now they have, you know, it was a whole mass propaganda scheme. Prop 12 turned into House Bill 4, in my humble opinion, to go ahead and limit people's remedies in court, but also to put lawyers out of business. And they said, well, we can't, you know, let's raise insurance rates. Who do we blame? Lawyers. And statistically, Mark, my understanding is that lawsuits don't raise insurance rates that much as bad investments.
Oh, yeah, and not just bad investments. The tragedy of 9/11 was a huge insurance cost. We had Katrina and other hurricanes. The insurance companies were hurting on a lot of different fronts. They'd made bad investments. They'd had major payouts they had to make in different areas. But the easy thing to do is to use the negative financial position as something they could blame lawyers on and try to fix the system in a way that helps them and hurts you and your loved ones every day. And that's what they did.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes left. You've got the floor. I'd always love to have the trial lawyers here because they can give their closing argument. And I'd love for you to have the floor and just let the ladies out there in Laredo, Corpus Christi, San Antonio, all the ladies and gentlemen out there, all the Christians out there, all the people that are disenfranchised, that are beaten down right now because of economic disparity. If there's a message or if there's something from the Lanier Law Firm, please give it. I'd love for you to give your closing argument. The floor is yours.
My closing argument. The text for my closing argument would come from the Old Testament book of Micah. In Micah, I believe it's the 6th chapter, the 8th verse, where the prophet says, "What does the Lord require of you?" And the answer is to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. And by the grace of God, that's what we try to do here, and that's what I'd urge you to try to do in your life, to seek justice. Let's work to make our judicial system what it should be. You get called to jury duty, go to jury duty. You get a chance to vote, vote. Make a chance to vote. Take others. Care about that. Do mercy. Seek mercy. We should be people who feel bad for those who are hurt and bad for those who are downtrodden and try to help them out. We do need to try and not be a vengeful people, but to be a people who care, yes, about justice and making things right, but also people who try to help those in need of help. And then to walk humbly with your God. As I understand what God has done through Jesus, it's something where he would give his own life to try and walk with us and to provide us forgiveness for our shortcomings so that we could be in fellowship with him. And it's my constant urging. I know lots of folks may see this from a lot of different faiths and maybe even from a lack of faith. Regardless of where you are, I challenge you to try and understand more fully why we as humans are on this planet. What is it that makes us unique and separate from the dogs that we have in our house or the cats that we have or the bugs that fly around us? Why is it that we're something within us that's different? And seek out what that may be and seek out where God may be and what you think he may have done for you, and not just what you feel, but what makes sense. And I'm certainly always glad to talk to folks about where I am on my faith, but it's my challenge to everybody to do those things, to do justice and love mercy and to walk humbly with God.
Well, Mark Lanier, you've been listening to him, Lanier Law Firm. And please, if you have any questions, and if I can help direct them towards Mark here in Houston, right here at 6810 FM 1960. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away here in Houston, Texas. I thank Mark for being here in his lovely office and his lovely building. And if you have any questions, call me at 361-887-8670 or go to the Lanier Law Firm and educate yourself on a lot of issues out there, or Google Mark, and you will see Mark Lanier, Lanier. And we hope you can come on again, Mark. It's been a privilege and honor.
What an honor. What an honor. God bless your show and you.
Thank you. And that's all we have time for. We're out. Good night. God bless.